Grand Winston Hotel, a place for the elite. Grand Winston isn't just a hotel, it's a statement, a sanctuary of luxury designed exclusively for the world's richest and most powerful. Politicians, CEOs, celebrities, they all come here. For them, this isn't just a place to stay, it's a symbol of status, a place where only the most worthy are welcome. And who decides who's worthy? Alan Whitmore, the longtime hotel manager, the gatekeeper, the dictator of Grand Winston. And in his world, everything happens on his terms. Alan Whitmore, the tyrant behind the curtain. For over 15 years, Alan has ruled Grand Winston like a king. He knows every VIP guest, every secret, every unwritten rule that separates the elite from the outsiders. And most importantly, he knows exactly who doesn't belong here. To Alan, Grand Winston is meant for one kind of person, the wealthy, the white, the powerful. Anyone else? They're just clutter, a blemish on the hotel's pristine reputation. And Alan doesn't tolerate blemishes, especially black employees. He doesn't need them, he just needs them to work hard, keep their heads down, and never question him. And if they do, they're gone. No discussion, no warning. Alan has fired dozens of black employees, and he doesn't feel bad about it, because to him, they're replaceable. But what Alan doesn't know is that one of them is about to change everything. Jason Carter, the employee. Alan should never have underestimated. Jason Carter is a bellhop at Grand Winston, a young man, hardworking, smart, respectful, and most importantly, patient. Jason knows how to play the long game. He's seen how Alan treats people like him, how Alan talks down to black employees, how he cuts them out of promotions, how he makes them invisible. Jason has felt that treatment firsthand. Alan has called him kid in front of guests, forced him to do the dirtiest jobs, and even once stolen a tip from him. Every time Jason tried to push back, Alan just smirked. "You should be grateful I even let you work here." Jason heard it all. Jason remembered it all. But unlike the others, Jason isn't planning to just walk away. Because Jason isn't just a bellhop. And soon, Alan is going to find out exactly who he's been messing with. Alan thinks he's still in control. After humiliating Jason in front of a VIP guest, Alan feels good about himself. He straightens his tie, smirks. Jason doesn't react, doesn't argue, doesn't fight back. To Alan, that's proof of victory. Jason has accepted his place. Alan won. At least, that's what he thinks. Because today is the day everything changes. Jason strikes back in a way no one expects. Jason stands still for a moment. Then, without a word, he turns and walks away. No protest, no anger, no argument, just a small, quiet smile. Because Jason knows something Alan doesn't. Jason isn't just an ordinary employee, and in just a few hours, Alan won't be the manager of Grand Winston anymore. Jason pulls out his phone, types a simple message. "Start it." Then he slides the phone back into his pocket and continues working. Like nothing happened. But in Jason's mind, the game has already begun. A group of powerful people arrives, and Alan knows something is wrong. Minutes later, the grand doors of the hotel swing open. A group of sharply dressed men and women step inside, their presence impossible to ignore. Leading them is a middle-aged man with a cold, serious expression. Alan sees them, and his entire demeanor shifts, because he recognizes them. They're the executives from the corporate office, the people who own Grand Winston, his bosses, and they never show up unless something major is happening. Alan quickly fixes his tie, puts on his best professional smile, and rushes toward them. He needs to make a good impression. But before he can even open his mouth, the CEO locks eyes with him, and in a voice that carries absolute authority, he says, "Alan Whitmore, we need to talk, now." Silence. Every employee in the lobby stops what they're doing. Heads turn, eyes widen, because the tone of that voice does not sound like good news. And Alan, for the first time in years, feels a chill creep down his spine, because deep down, he knows something very bad is about to happen. The meeting, and Alan can feel something is wrong. Alan follows the executives into the VIP conference room, his heart pounding. Something feels off. He doesn't know what's happening yet, but he can sense it, that instinct every predator gets when they realize they're about to become the prey. Still, Alan forces confidence into his voice. He straightens his back, puts on his best businesslike smile, and says, "Gentlemen, what seems to be the problem? Grand Winston is running perfectly." Silence. The CEO of the company places a thick folder on the table. Then, without a word, he opens it, and Alan's stomach drops, because staring back at him is a stack of evidence, emails, internal messages, surveillance footage, all proving exactly what Alan has been doing for years. His racist hiring practices, his favoritism toward white guests, his mistreatment of black employees. And then, the worst part. A phone is placed on the table, a button is pressed, and suddenly, Alan hears his own voice, crystal clear, undeniable. "If these people don't like it, they can leave. Black employees are replaceable. I can fire one and hire 10 more in a day." Alan's blood runs cold. He knows that recording is real, because those are his words, his exact words, and there's no way to take them back. Alan tries to fight back, but he's drowning fast. Alan swallows hard. His mind races. He can't just sit here and let this happen. He has to fight back, so he does the only thing he can. He lies. He scoffs, shaking his head. "This is ridiculous. That recording, it's fake. I can make anyone say anything these days." The executives don't react, so Alan doubles down. "Somebody is clearly trying to sabotage me. I have served this hotel for 15 years. You really think I'd put my reputation at risk like this?" Silence. Then, the CEO presses play on a second recording. "VIP guests don't want black employees in the lobby. If I see any of them wandering around where they shouldn't be, they're gone." Alan stops breathing, because this isn't just one recording. There are multiple, and he knows what that means. This wasn't a random leak. This was planned. Someone has been recording him for months, collecting everything, setting this exact trap. And Alan, he walked right into it. The final blow. Alan realizes he's been played. A female executive slides another file across the table. "And what about these?" she asks. Alan's hands tremble as he opens the folder. More evidence. Company emails, his emails, explicitly ordering staff to give white guests special treatment. Reports from employees detailing how Alan ignored complaints from black workers. It's all there, in black and white, signed, time-stamped, unmistakable. Alan grips the table. His head spins. How did this happen? How did all of this get exposed? Who? And then, the door opens. Alan looks up, and the person who walks in makes his entire world shatter. The door opens, and Jason walks in like a king. The conference room is silent. All eyes are locked on Alan, waiting for his reaction. He grips the table, his mind racing. The evidence laid out before him, emails, recordings, security footage. It's damning, undeniable. And yet, he's still clinging to the hope that he can talk his way out of this. He swallows hard, trying to keep his voice steady. "Gentlemen, I think there's been a mistake. Someone is trying to set me up." No one responds. The CEO simply stares at him, unimpressed. Then, the door swings open, and the person who walks in makes Alan's blood freeze. Jason. But not as a bellhop, not as some nameless, low-level employee. Jason walks in with confidence, with power, like a man who owns the room. And the moment Alan sees the look in his eyes, he knows he's already lost. Jason exposes Alan in front of everyone. Jason doesn't take a seat. He doesn't need to. He stands tall, looking directly at Alan, his expression calm. "Mr. Whitmore, do you know why I'm here?" Alan clenches his fists under the table. "I don't know what kind of stunt you think you're pulling." Jason smirks. "I'm here because I'm the one who gathered all the evidence against you." The room erupts. The executives murmur amongst themselves, some nodding, some whispering. But Alan? Alan just stares, disbelief, rage. How? How the hell did a lowly bellhop do this? How did he? Then, Jason takes out his phone. He taps the screen, and the massive TV screen on the conference room wall flickers to life. A photo appears, and when Alan sees it, his entire world shatters. The truth Alan never saw coming. The image on the screen. It's a formal corporate photo, a distinguished man in a tailored suit standing proudly at a podium. The CEO of the parent company that owns Grand Winston, and right next to him, Jason, standing beside him, smiling, like he belongs there. Then, the words under the image make Alan feel like he's about to be sick. Jason Carter, son of Charles Carter, chairman of Winston Corporation. Silence, complete, deafening silence. Alan's body goes numb, his hands turn ice cold. Because now he understands. Jason isn't just an employee. Jason is the heir. Jason is his boss's son. And Alan, he's been treating him like garbage since the day he started. Jason tilts his head slightly, his eyes sharp. "So, Mr. Whitmore, still think I should be grateful you let me work here?" Alan opens his mouth. No words come out because for the first time in his life, he has nothing left to say. Alan gets thrown out, but the worst is yet to come. 2 security guards drag Alan through the grand lobby of the Grand Winston. The same lobby he once ruled. Employees stop to watch, some smirk, some whisper. Alan used to be king here. Now, he's just a disgraced nobody being tossed out like garbage. No one pities him, no one stands up for him, because he deserves this. And the moment the hotel doors slam shut behind him, the next wave of karma crashes down. Reporters, journalists, news crews, and they're all here for Alan Whitmore. Cameras flash, microphones are shoved in his face. A storm of voices drowns out everything else. "Mr. Whitmore, do you have anything to say about the allegations of racism? Did you really fire employees just for being black? Did you know who Jason Carter was before insulting him?" Alan's head spins. How did the press find out so fast? How did this blow up overnight? Then, it hits him. Jason planned this. Jason didn't just destroy him inside Grand Winston. He made sure the whole world watched him fall. And karma, is just getting started. Alan loses his money, left with nothing. Alan breaks free from the reporters and runs. His heart is pounding. He needs help, a way out. He yanks out his phone, calls his lawyer, straight to voicemail. "We regret to inform you that we can no longer represent you." Alan's stomach drops. Everyone is abandoning him. Desperate, he calls the bank. He needs to check his balance. Account balance, $0. Alan freezes. His entire fortune, frozen. Every business partner, lawyer, investor, even his wife, has cut him off. He didn't just lose his job, he lost everything. And the worst part? He did this to himself. The streets become Alan's home, from millionaire to nobody. Days later, a photo of Alan Whitmore goes viral, not in a suit, not in an office, but on the streets, homeless, filthy, alone. Remember Alan Whitmore? This is him now. From luxury hotels to sleeping on benches, karma always wins. The man who thought he was untouchable now has nothing. Alan sees the posts. He reads the comments. The same people who once feared him now mock him. The people who laughed at his jokes now pretend they never knew him. Every door is closed. No one will help him. And karma isn't done yet. Alan, from a man who had everything to a man who has nothing. Alan used to stand at the top. He thought he was untouchable. He used to walk through Grand Winston like he owned it. Now he's just another homeless nobody on the streets, sleeping on park benches, digging through trash cans for scraps of food. Nobody cares. Nobody helps. Because everyone knows who he is. And they know. He deserves this. The media keeps attacking. Social media keeps dragging his name through the dirt. From elite hotel manager to a man with nothing, Alan Whitmore's karma is brutal. Alan Whitmore thought he was in control. Now he doesn't even have a home. Remember Alan Whitmore? Neither do we. The people who once kissed up to him. They act like he never existed. Every bridge is burned. Every door is shut. And Alan? He has nowhere to go but karma. Still isn't done. Alan tries to rebuild, but no one will hire him. Alan is desperate. He needs money. He needs a way back. So he does the only thing he can. He starts begging for jobs. First, a small hotel. He keeps his head down, pretends to be someone else. But when the manager sees his application, they laugh. "Alan Whitmore, you think we don't know who you are?" The application gets ripped in half. He gets kicked out. Next, he tries a fast food restaurant. He swallows his pride and begs for work. The manager looks at him, then glances at his black employees, the same kind of people Alan once mistreated, and with a cold smile he says, "We don't hire people like you." Alan breaks. He finally understands. There's no coming back. He burned every bridge, and now he has to live with it. Alan faces the people he used to look down on. One freezing night, Alan sits on a bench, shivering. He used to think he was untouchable. Now, he's just another forgotten man. And when he looks up, a group of men approaches. They're big, tall, strong, dressed in hoodies, hands in their pockets. Alan recognizes them immediately. They were once his employees, the black men he insulted, disrespected, fired. And now, they're staring down at him. Well, look at what we have here. One of them smirks. "Alan Whitmore, the big shot manager. How's life treating you now?" Alan's chest tightens. He tries to speak, tries to beg, but his voice won't come out, because now he's in their position. And they hold all the power. One of them reaches into his pocket, pulls out a few crumpled dollar bills, holds them out. Want to make some money, Whitmore? Alan's hands tremble. He nods. Then get on your knees. Silence. Alan stares. His pride fights back. But what pride? Because now he's just another nobody. And the people he once stepped on now have the power to step on him. Alan thinks this is the end, but hell is just beginning. Alan stares at the crumpled bills in the man's hand. His body shakes, not from the cold, from humiliation, from defeat. He once owned everything. Now he's being mocked by the same people he used to step on. The man smirks. Come on, Whitmore. You want to eat tonight, don't you? The group laughs. Alan clenches his fists. His pride screams at him to stand up, to walk away, to at least keep one last piece of dignity. But his stomach growls, his body aches. And his pride, it's already dead. Alan drops to his knees, trembling. The man throws the money onto the ground. Alan reaches for it, and just as his fingers touch the bills, the man steps on his hand. Hard, grinding it into the dirt. The group laughs harder. Alan squeezes his eyes shut. And at that moment, he understands. This isn't temporary. This isn't rock bottom. This is his life now. Forever. Alan runs, but there's nowhere left to go. Hours later, Alan stumbles into a dark alley. His stomach hurts. His pride is gone. His life is over. He collapses against a wall, breathing heavily. He used to have money, power, control. Now, he doesn't even have a place to sleep. His hands tremble as he pulls out his phone, his last possession. The screen is cracked. The battery is almost dead, but he has to try. He has to call someone, anyone. First, his wife. This number is no longer in service. Alan's heart drops. Next, an old business partner. We have nothing to discuss. Don't contact me again. Then his lawyer, straight to voicemail. Alan stares at the screen, at the empty contact list, at the life that no longer exists. Then, the phone dies. And for the first time, Alan truly realizes he has nothing left. No money, no friends, no future. Only karma. And karma doesn't forgive. Alan tries one last time, but the world won't forgive him. Alan wanders the streets, his body weak, his stomach empty. His mind races. There has to be a way out. There has to be someone who will give him another chance. He stumbles toward a high-end restaurant, one of the places he used to dine at regularly. Once they reserved the best table for him. Once the staff treated him like royalty. Now, he's just a nobody begging at their door. Alan pushes inside, ignoring the stares of disgust from guests and employees. A manager approaches, frowning. Sir, you need to leave. Alan swallows hard. Please, I just need a job. Anything. I'll clean floors, wash dishes. The manager raises an eyebrow, then glances at one of the waiters, a black man in his 20s, someone Alan would have fired on sight back in his Grand Winston days. The manager smirks. What do you think? Should we give him a shot? The waiter leans in, looking Alan dead in the eyes. We don't hire people like you. Alan's chest tightens. The words hit him like a bullet because they're the exact same words he once used to destroy lives. Now, they're being used against him. Alan stumbles back, stunned. Please, just give me a chance. The manager laughs. Did you give anyone a chance, Whitmore? Silence. Alan has no answer. Because they're right. No one forgives him. No one will ever forgive him. Security grabs his arms and throws him out. Again, and this time, Alan doesn't get back up. Alan sees Jason and knows it's over. Alan sits on the sidewalk, his clothes filthy, his face hollow, his life gone. And then a shadow falls over him. Alan looks up and sees Jason Carter, dressed in an expensive suit, looking down at Alan the same way Alan once looked down at him. Jason doesn't say anything at first. He just stares, studying Alan, observing what's left of the man who once thought he was untouchable. Then finally Jason speaks. "Funny seeing you here, Mr. Whitmore." Alan can't breathe. Jason Carter. The man who took everything from him. No, the man who let karma take everything from him. Alan tries to speak, to beg, but Jason raises a hand. "Don't bother." Silence. Jason kneels down, getting to Alan's level. "You want to know the truth?" Alan doesn't move. He just stares, defeated. Jason leans in closer. "I didn't destroy you." Alan flinches. Jason smirks. "You did it to yourself." And with that, Jason stands and walks away. No anger, no revenge, just justice. Because Alan Whitmore isn't worth his time anymore. Alan sits in his own ruins. There's nothing left. Jason walks away. His footsteps fade into the city noise. Alan just sits there. His body is cold. His mind is empty. Because now it's over. There's no more fighting back. No more second chances. This is his life now. A nameless nobody in a world that doesn't care about him. Alan thought he was a king. Now he's nothing. He used to be powerful. He used to be feared. People once listened when he spoke. Now, people walk past him like he doesn't exist. They don't even look at him. Just like he once ignored the people he thought were beneath him. Now he's beneath everyone. A forgotten ghost of the man he used to be. And no one cares. Karma doesn't forgive. It just takes Alan finally understands there's no coming back from this. He has no money, no friends, no home. And the world has already moved on. He is nothing now, just another nameless face on the street. He closes his eyes, and for the first time in his life, he finally feels powerless.